Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert A. Minnis, in his national statement to the United Nations General Assembly in New York City on Friday, called on the UN to intensify its commitment to addressing climate change, which is posing a real threat to small island developing states such as the Bahamas. Fresh from his delivery of the statement, and upon arrival home in Nassau on Saturday, Prime Minister Minnis addressed a press conference at LPIA, during which his remarks reflected the same concern put forward at the UN.
The problems that we face, climate change is a big problem that all small island states face, Caribbean inclusive. And we were concerned with the strength of the hurricanes today as opposed to yesterday and the damages that they inflict within all Caribbean nations.
While at the UN, the Prime Minister also participated in the Bloomberg Roundtable on building resilient economies.
And at that meeting, we were engaged in technological discussion, seeing how the world is moving forward. And what was even more interesting is that there were many CEOs who were there present. The CEO from Ford Motor Company made a very interesting presentation when he said that their goal is to have all electrical cars, or as many as possible, by the year 2025. And that points out how important it is for us to move towards alternative energy and solar energy. So you'd see that the Bahamas is truly on the right track in that we have introduced a policy of free tuition for BTVI so that individuals can be trained in technological advancement. And we're introducing a policy also for University of Bahamas. I had a very interesting and productive discussion with the CEO of Airbnb and discussed the challenges that we faced. And he had offered that what they would do for us if they would keep a register of all rental facilities within the Bahamas, and if at any point we introduced any taxation so that we can have some type of funds generated from these rental facilities, then they would do the collection for us, after which they would repatriate the necessary funds at Bahamas. There were quite a number of individuals who expressed interest of having new vessels, cruise vessels, coming into Grand Bahama. And as you know, we spoke about Grand Bahama becoming the marine capital of the Bahamas. It was essential for him to be engaged in such discussions. And in addition to that, we also spoke about Grand Bahama becoming the technological hub of this part of the hemisphere.
Prime Minister Minnis said he also made it clear at the General Assembly level, as well as the Bloomberg Roundtable sessions, that the Bahamas will not bend on its immigration initiatives.
But it was pointed out to them that under no circumstances that the Bahamas, that we will relent on our immigration policy. That hurricane we can deal with and we will aggressively pursue. We are being assisted by the United States Coast Guard in our southern boundaries, and we have a great relationship, and we have ship riders on the U.S. vessels, and therefore they can enter our waters and deal with it appropriately.
Dr. Minnis said that he and his CARICOM counterparts also made it clear to the UN that the time is due for first world nations to take responsibility for their contribution to escalating climate change and the negative impact it has on our CARICOM region.
The UN must look at it somewhat differently, in that the war that we fight in terms of hurricane is not our war. It's a war caused by climate change as a result of first world nations. We make very little contribution to the climate change as we see. But we're the ones who feel all the effects. We're the ones who's attacked by a war that was not created by us. And therefore it was pointed out to them that because it was their war that's attacking us, then the time has come when they should provide an independent funding that would deal with our infrastructure that is damaged by the hurricanes. So it will have no impact on our debt to GDP ratio and our borrowing for our consolidated and social health, national security infrastructure.
I'm Synovia Williams, and this has been a BIS Update.